Hey everybody, this is Rustin Rose with Metalholic Magazine, and with us tonight, Reed Mullin of Corrosion of Conformity. How are you doing, brother?
Oh, you got that right. I'm doing great, brother. I'm super stoked, man. It's coming out tomorrow.
It is. The new album, self-titled, is coming out tomorrow, and I definitely want to talk about that, but for 30 fucking years, man.
30 years, I know.
You were in high school when you came up with the name for the band.
Yeah, I was in chemistry class. I had this nappy-looking mohawk, and all the jock guys would be chucking paper clips and shit at me, and we were talking about corrosive materials, and I was like, we had the band, but we had run through several different names like Misguided, The Accused, Aftermath. They're all right, and I scratched in my desk, Corrosion of Conformity. And so kind of the other dudes dug it, so that's what we rolled with, C.O.C. Cock.
You've got 30 years of history with this band. I mean, that's, almost 3/4 of your life that you've put into all of this. I mean, when you look back over that history, I mean, what are there certain moments that really just stand out for you?
Oh, man, there's millions of them. I mean, I can't tell you how blessed I feel that we got to tour around with Minor Threat, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, as well as Metallica and fucking Soundgarden, and I don't know. I mean, we've got to meet so many cool people throughout the years, and cruise the world and get paid for it. I mean, not a huge amount of money or anything, but we can pay our rent and stuff, and Mike, Woody, and I really started the band, and we learned how to play together. And we're like this organism. We're like this one thing. So, because the three of us slowly learned how to play our instruments a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Right.
At first it was just like kind of generic punk rock, like DC style punk rock. And then we injected some Sabbath sounds. Like our first album, Eye for an Eye, not a lot of people know this, but there's a song on our first album, Eye for an Eye, called Redneck, and it's really just a Sabbath song sped up. It's Symptom of the Universe. It really is. And we used the song Cornucopia as an intro, and so we've always been kind of into the hardcore punk stuff and metal, and I don't know, man. It's playing with those two guys. It takes me to a different level. It's just probably the funnest thing I've ever done in my life. And when we got back together, like I guess a year and a half ago, it was instantaneous. I mean, it was shit. 2 weeks later, we had 4 brand new songs. I mean, Mike Dean was like, I don't want to do this if it's just going to be a nostalgia trip,
Right.
Where we play old Animosity, Eye for an Eye, Technocracy stuff. Let's do this, man. Let's have some fun. And so that's where we are right now, man.
One of the things that's always impressed me about you guys is just how fitting the band's name is relative to the music. I mean, you guys never followed the expected path.
Exactly. And I feel like we can do whatever the fuck we want. I really do. I mean, we haven't done industrial, or we haven't done dub or reggae stuff, but who knows? I mean, we have, fucked around with a lot of different styles, and I mean, my favorite albums by C.O.C. are Animosity, Blind, Deliverance, and this new one, and they're all kind of different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. Yeah, you're right. It does embody, not only musically, but I think lyrically. I think it embodies. The name embodies both of those aspects.
Now, what is it about C.O.C.'s sound, though, that allows you guys to sort of spin into any subgenre with any voice behind the mic, yet you guys still retain that continuity and the essence of who C.O.C. is?
It's the core of me, Mike, and Woody. It's because of us, because we like I said, we learned to play together, and we learned to write songs together. I mean, Mike Dean is one of the baddest bass players I've ever seen, but man, he's out there, dude. And he and I are frenetic. It's almost like Woody's the rhythm section. And I don't know. It's just this. It's just like I said. It's just this kind of organism that oozes this stuff that happens to, look and sound different all the time. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Can't think of a funner job, I tell you that.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
You stepped away from the band for almost a decade because of some health issues and just to sort of clear your head. First off, how's your health these days, and how hard was it for you to be away from the guys?
Oh, it sucked. God, it was awful. Yeah, I tried to have fun while I'm playing drums, and one of my idols was Chuck Biscuits, who played with Black Flag and DOA and Circle Jerks and Danzig and Social Distortion, and he just rocked, and so I wanted to rock like him, and after a while it took a toll on my back, and so I went to Duke University and got some treatments there for about 6 months, and it's a lot better now. I'm trying to go to the gym every day and get back in shape. But I think was getting a little bummed on the direction at that time. I wanted to do maybe some more hardcore stuff. I wanted to mix it up a little more. I liked a lot of songs, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit more, and they kind of didn't. So that might have kept me away a little bit longer than it would have. So, but I mean, it's all kumbaya now, man. We're all super good friends. I just talked to Pepper yesterday, so he's going to come up and jam with us when we play New Orleans. So
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are family. It's what family does. But in the interim, when you were gone, the band released "In the Arms of God." How weird was that for you, being the band was sort of your baby? How do you feel about that album?
I think it's pretty good. There's a couple songs on there I like a whole lot, but I don't know that Homie was the best choice. I might have. I mean, he's a fucking incredible drummer. What's his name? Stanton.
Yeah,
Stanton
I knew it started with an S.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. I mean, he makes me look like the drummer for the Ramones or something, But I don't know. To me, it didn't quite feel the same. I mean, I listened to it with an open mind. I was hoping they would, they would, kick ass, and I think some of the songs do. But it didn't hurt my feelings or anything. Shit, I wasn't in the band, so.
Yeah.
Woody, Mike left the band in 1987 for a while.
Right.
And then Woody left the band in 1994 for a while when we kicked Carl out. And then I left the band around 2000, 2001, something like that. So we've all disappeared for a little bit.
Right. But like we said, it's family. It all comes back together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about.
I think we're better friends. I think our relationships are stronger and better now than they ever have been. I think that we're more open and I think we're having more fun. And we had a fuckload of fun, man, throughout the years. I tell you what.
Well, let's talk about the new record, self-titled. You guys have the Animosity lineup back together again. But originally, you said you just talked to Pepper yesterday. Originally, Pepper was going to do this album with you, wasn't he? I mean, wasn't he sort of the catalyst to get it back together?
Well, no. He called us, and I think he had been on tour down in Europe and stuff.
Right.
And, because they're down are huge, promoters would come up to him and say, hey, listen, we really want you to put C.O.C. the Deliverance lineup back together, and we'll put you on some festivals and give you some cash. So Pep comes home and calls us all up and emails us and stuff and says, hey, man, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but a lot of promoters really want us to do these festivals, and we could, have fun, make some cash, you know, whatever, maybe do something else. And we were like, fuck, yeah, let's do that, man. It's been too long. Let's do that. That'd be fun. You know, let's clean them wounds, you know, do some healing, and have some fun, make some cash at the same time. So anyway, about 3 weeks goes by, and Woody calls me up and says, "Hey man, have you looked at the listing of those festivals that we're supposed to be on?" And I said, "No. And he said, "We're not on them. Down are." So we had already, me, Mike, and Woody had already started jamming together, you know, just to get used to each other before Woody made that call to me, and throughout the years, there's been tons of people that have begged us to get the old Animosity lineup happening, just because a lot of people weren't even born when it came out, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people that did see it really liked it. So we were like, you know, what the fuck? Let's do this pseudo nostalgia tip thing, kind of thing. And as I said, but Mike said, and he was right. We got to write some new songs as well, because I don't want to go out just as this one trick pony kind of thing. So we wrote 4 new songs in like 2 weeks. And all of them are on the new album, and then at first we hooked up with Greg Anderson's label. We did a 7-inch with this guy from California.
Gotcha.
And then we hooked up with Tone Deaf. Yeah.
Tell us the story about how you came to have the record produced at Dave Grohl's studio, because I know it's a really cool story, and it had something to do with them Crooked Vultures.
Yeah, they were on Saturday Night Live, right?
Right.
And I wanted to check it out because I haven't heard I had not heard their album at the time, and they rocked. I like Josh Homme, of course, John Paul Jones, and Dave is one of the best drummers ever. And at the end of the Saturday Night Live thing, they'd had a comedy skit, and it was a hardcore punk rock wedding band, and they're called Crisis of Conformity. Apparently, Fred from Saturday Night Live was a huge C.O.C. fan when he was a kid, so they put that together, and they actually wrote songs in the realm of old C.O.C. and you know, did a stage dive or whatever onto the wedding cake and stuff, and it was hilarious. So I saw it, and I was like, those motherfuckers, what the hell? Oh my God, that's hilarious. And I found out they were playing Atlanta the next day. So I busted ass down there to see them. They were playing the Fox, where Leonard Skinner did One More from the Road.
Right.
And I got there late, but I knew the tour manager, so I got a good pass. But they were already playing. So I snuck behind Dave while he was jamming, and about 2 songs after I was sitting behind him, he turns around and sees me, and his eyes went like one of those Tex Avery cartoons. You know what I mean, where the eyes get real big, right? And he jumps off his drum throne and gives me this big, sweaty bear hug. Reed, what are you doing here? Oh, my God. Because I've known the guy for 25 years. I put his very first band was called Dane Bramage, and I used to have an indie label, and I put his first album out. So we've been friends for a long time. And so he gives me this big bear hug, and Josh Homme and John Paul Jones are going, what happened to where's Dave? Where'd he go? And Dave goes, wait, just stay right here. And he runs as fast as he can to John Paul Jones' side of the stage and grabs him and brings him back where I am. And he says, John, this is Reed Mullin. He's a good old friend of mine. Reed, this is John. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I know this is John Paul Jones. Jesus Christ. And Dave Grohl says, this guy Reed Mullin is the reason I play drums. And he has been since the beginning. Isn't that fucking badass? And John Paul Jones goes, whew, mate, you must be pretty good. So anyway, later that night, I'm hanging out with those dudes, and Dave says, look, I heard you and Mike and Woody are playing again, doing, the old school stuff. I got a studio, and I'll totally hook you up, man. I'll totally hook you up. Just come out. It's a great studio. We've done a couple albums there. And I didn't believe him. I thought he was just being nice. And he calls me a week later and says, dude, what's going on? You haven't called the studio manager. And I'm like, well, I thought you were kidding. He said, no, I'm not kidding at all. Come out, do your album. So that's why we did our album out there. And I tell you what, that Dave Grohl guy is a cool motherfucker. Isn't that a great story?
That is an awesome story.
It was my birthday, too. It was my birthday, too.
How much better could it get, man?
That's the best birthday present ever. Yeah, man.
Well, I think the album came out brilliantly as a trio. But did you guys talk about or even consider reaching out to Carl at any point?
I actually did I did about 10 shows with Carl 2 years ago, and we performed the Blind album from start to finish, just because I really love that album. And at that time, we hadn't got Woody and Mike and I. Mike and I were pretty tight, but Woody was still a little kind of sketchy, and I think he not necessarily on me, but playing music. I think he had been burnt out, kind of.
Right.
And you know what my biggest wish is? If we could do just a small little tour of like major cities where the trio does a set, a Blind set, and then there's a Pepper set. I think that would be so fucking badass for the 30th anniversary. Even if it was just one show, it would be cool. Damn. Because I love Carl. I love that guy to death, and I think he's a great singer. The shows that we did around the East Coast and in Raleigh and stuff, I think he sounded better than he sounded back in '91 when we were touring with bands like Soundgarden and fucking Iron Maiden and shit.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome if you could at least get that as a one-off and make it into a DVD. Great way to commemorate 3 decades, man.
Yeah, really. I mean, I think if we're going to do it, we should do it this year.
Make it happen.
I'm trying.
The C.O.C. Army is calling to you. So, now, you guys with this album, you've sort of encapsulated all the sonic eras of C.O.C., I think, on this record. At least that's the way it sounds to me. Was that your guys' intent going in, or did it just come out that way, or am I completely out in left field?
No, you're right on the money. It wasn't a conscious effort on our part to do all those different sounds, like Leeches and some of the cut beat kind of faster songs, or What You Despise Is What You Become, are more of the punk kind of stuff, and I think you're right. It embodies pretty much all our different sounds, but I think that's just because it's me, Mike, and Woody, man. I mean, that's the stuff we like, and that's the stuff we write. So,
as always, there's sort of a current of anger running through the album. What are you angry about these days? What's pissing you off?
What's pissing me off?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some obvious things. I mean, how the 1%, got bailed out, all the banks and stuff like that, and they're doing better than they were, beforehand, and the middle class are hating life. I mean, but my politics have pretty much remained the same. I'm pretty progressive kind of dude. I don't know. That could be a very long conversation.
Well, maybe one of these.
Let's keep it positive. I want to stay positive. Let's stay positive. But I mean, the Leeches are speechless. It's about consumerism. Weaving Spiders Come Not Here is about a place called Bohemian Grove in Northern California, where all the richest and most powerful people in the world meet once a year and supposedly make the decisions of what's going to happen economically and politically around the world. It's one of those conspiracy theorist kind of things.
Right.
They have at this place. It's in the middle of in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and it's constantly guarded by dudes with machine guns, and all these super rich guys. I don't think women are allowed. Build a giant bonfire in front of a 60-foot tall owl, and they dance around it naked. And then they decide, supposedly, what's going to happen to, the gold's, the price of oil or, whatever. So that's what that's about. And then what you despise is what you become is about, that's pretty self-explanatory, folks that used to be benevolent and cool and then bought into the whole fucking money-making thing and or whatever. Those are the three that I had most to do with. I'd rather not speak for Mike, but Mike is a brilliant lyricist, I think, and maybe you can give him a holler sometime and ask him about it because he's great, man.
My two favorite tracks on the album this week, because it seems to keep changing, but Your Tomorrow and What We Become, I really dig those. So.
Oh, right on. Thanks.
So,
yeah.
Pepper was usually the king of the lyrics, so how did you guys handle that this time around then?
Well, because we had done it before so many times, we did it on Blind. I wrote shitloads of lyrics on Blind, and Mike and I, and even Woody wrote lyrics back in the old days. So, if you feel pissed off or bummed out about something or think something's so kind of interesting, it's easy to spit it out, I think. I wouldn't consider myself a great lyricist, but I think I can hit the nail on the head lots of times.
Absolutely. As you certainly did. What's going on with Righteous Fool? I believe you recorded some material for the project at the same time that you were at Dave Grohl's studio for this.
Yeah, God, man, you know everything. We did. I think I did a total of 36 drum tracks in like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. Yeah. While we're doing this little stint, while C.O.C. is, Jason Browning, the guitar player for Righteous Fool, is going to finish up his vocals and ear candy guitar stuff, but all the basic tracks are done. And then in between the U.S. little stint and the European stuff, Mike and I are going to finish our vocals and whatever percussive stuff or whatever else we're going to do. But dude, that sounds really good. I think you're going to like that as well. At least I hope you will.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that as well. Now, one of the things that we're getting ready to do our big best of drummers for the last 30 best drummers for the last 30 years, hard rock and metal. And you had, obviously we talked about Dave Grohl a little bit. You mentioned Chuck Biscuits, but who in your mind really belongs at the top of that list?
Who in my mind?
Yeah, who do you think belongs at in the top 5 or 10 lists of the best drummers of the last 30 years in the rock and metal arena?
Oh, fuck. There's so many of the kids these days, like the kid from BT Bam. There's so many of those mathy kind of bands that do outrageous stuff. But for me, Clive Burr, the first drummer for Iron Maiden.
Right.
I would say certainly Dave Grohl. I would say Ian Pace. God, I don't know. George Hurley from the Minutemen. Sean Reiner.
Sean
He's
Reiner.
badass.
Yeah, Sean Reiner's really good.
Yeah, he's fucking incredible. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I don't know. Who do you like?
Oh, God, there's so many because the genres span so much. For me, Neil Peart will always be the godfather. But there's just some Bill
definitely.
Ward. Bill Ward had that very
Bill
jazzy,
Ward, yeah,
free
of
swinging.
course, Bill Ward.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
And
definitely.
Ian Pace, as you said, the new guys. There's a lot.
John Bonham, the classics, yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch Mitchell.
So, but
yeah.
there's a lot of great new guys though too. Obviously, you got to give Mike Portnoy his due, and
Fuck yeah.
Is it Gavin Harrison from Porcupine Tree? I can't. Right now, my head's
And
spinning.
then you got Lombardo.
Yeah,
you got,
Dave Lombardo, absolutely.
Big Gene.
Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta love him. You gotta love him playing in his socks and shit. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there, dude. It's for an old man like me.
Yeah, well, trust me, I'm a couple of years ahead of you still. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So before we get out of here, a couple more things from you. Name 5 albums that changed your life.
Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. By Discharge. Volume 4 by Black Sabbath. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Stations of the Crass. No, I don't know. There was a lot of 7 inches rolling around back then too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. Damaged, Black Flag, and the first Void album.
So last question then. Just for fun, if you could spend an evening with any person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
You!
Living or dead? I might be more fun dead.
Oh, Jesus. Let me see.
I always thought it'd be really cool to spend an evening with Ben Franklin. Pick his brain.
Ben Franklin? Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he would be. I guess maybe Ben Franklin or Tesla. Because Tesla did so much crazy shit beforehand. He never got credit for it, you know?
That's true. Very true. All right, so the new album, Corrosion of Conformity, self-titled, comes out tomorrow. Everybody has to go out and buy it. Don't illegally download it. Support the artist. 30 years of C.O.C. The classic animosity
30 years
lineup.
of cock.
There you go. So,
yeah, my man. Hey, I really appreciate it, dude.
Absolutely. The new album is phenomenal, and I'm glad to see you guys back out there for sure, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you on the road. Make that CD, DVD happen with Carl and Pepper.
Yes. I think that would be badass, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, the world's supposed to end in December. You've only got 10 months left.
We've only got 7 months left, man. We got to get this thing rolling.
Make it happen. Reed, take care. Thanks for getting back to me, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
I hope I get to meet you soon, man.
Absolutely. Take care, man.